With you again in just 10 minutes. Busy day out there on the roadways. Got to keep our focus on it this afternoon. Well, keeping a focus on other things right now, as we told you, keeping an eye on taxes and keeping an eye on this and on that and on news stories that are breaking all the time here. One of the things we're keeping an eye on right now is politics. We're keeping an eye on the elections coming up, and especially an interesting election coming up in Southeast Tennessee, the Republican and Democratic primaries for 3rd District House seat being vacated by Zach Wamp. As you know, Representative Wamp is now running for governor in the Republican gubernatorial primary. One of those running for the 3rd District House seat, which will have no incumbent, is Bradley County Sheriff Tim Gobble. Sheriff Gobble, thanks for taking the time. I know you've had a busy day today to talk to us here on WPLZ.
Thank you, Ed. Good to be with you this afternoon.
Well, I know earlier today, and that when I'd spoken to you a little bit earlier, you had been at a very meaningful offering earlier today. The Chattanooga Hamilton County Law Enforcement Memorial Service was held today, remembering those who have given their lives as public servants in our area. And I'm sad to say I got some information, probably within the last hour, that 2 police officers were killed in West Memphis, Arkansas today. So that's another sad situation.
It sure is, Ed. It was a nice program today that was hosted by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and Chattanooga PD. I was very honored to be a part of that program this year as well as last year. And it is very sad that those 2 additional officers have now given their lives in the line of duty this very day. I think there are over 19,000 law enforcement officers on the National Memorial in Washington, D.C., and sadly that is added to every year. And unfortunately today there are others that have made the ultimate sacrifice. We want to keep them and their families in our prayers during this time.
Well, the local sheriff and the chief deputy also wounded, but it looks it looks like they will survive. The suspects involved in this were killed. So, but a sad situation. Ironically, on today when we are honoring those who do so much and give of themselves so much. Another thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was something that that has come up quite a bit in the news lately. It seems like, and I don't know of any other better way to put this other than there's some squabbling going on as far as the Republican Party about something that happens quite a bit. You have your fundraising dinners, and apparently there is a fundraising dinner coming up this coming Saturday evening at 6 o'clock, the Lincoln Day dinner, that has caused a little bit of I don't know what you would call it, an uprising as far as some of the candidates. Could you give us a little background on that?
Well, Ed, I'd say don't squabble, vote gobble. How's that?
There you go. I think I've heard that before.
There is a little bit of disagreement, I guess, as to whether people will be allowed to speak or not to speak. My campaign has been going to Lincoln Day and Reagan Day dinners all across the district throughout the course of this campaign. We've been represented at all of them. And very enjoyable. I enjoy going to party events. We're going to attend this one as well. I plan to be there Saturday night. Look forward to meeting folks and shaking hands and talking one-on-one. Unfortunately, the party leadership in Hamilton County has put in a requirement that any candidate, even qualified candidates that have been qualified by the state of Tennessee Secretary of State's office, as well as the Republican Party, will be required to pay $2,000 in order to have a few minutes at the podium. We think that's excessive. The other candidates think that's excessive. Different campaigns are responding in different ways. But I think it's important that we not, especially in this climate today, that we not give the impression as a party that if you don't have money or don't pay the money, you don't matter. I think it's important that we send the message of inclusion and not exclusion, and I would urge the party to reconsider that decision.
Well, you've got a couple of high-profile candidates, like you said. You will be there, but from what I understand, Attorney Chuck Fleischman, who's pretty high name recognition, he certainly could, from what I could tell, could afford to pay the money, but he's not going to be there at all.
Well, I think Chuck's made a decision based on principle and what he thinks is good for, his position and what he's stated in his campaign, and I respect him for that. Chuck is a good individual and a good person, and we're personal friends. And, we are planning to go. Again, I think it's, we do support the Republican Party. I am a Republican. And I just think, unfortunately, there's been a group of people that have made a bad decision here. And it's going to take away from those in attendance and then maybe those who might read newspaper accounts the chance to learn more about the cross-section of candidates that are viable in this race. I think I certainly am one of those, and I have a great record to run on, a great level of experience, and I think I stand out among the candidates in this race in that regard, and I hate that we're not going to get the opportunity to do that without paying $2,000. We feel like $2,000 can be used better elsewhere.
Well, from what I can tell, and this information is a couple of hours old, you will be there. You'll be there glad-handing and talking with people there. But as far as paying for the tables, it looks like Robin Smith and Mr. Art Rhodes are going to be the ones who are the only ones who have actually, from what I can tell, actually paid for the tables so far. So out of all the candidates, I can only find two.
That's the last information that I had as well. Of course, Harold Coker is the vice chairman of the Hamilton County Republican Party, was the co-chairman of her campaign, has been a big donor to Robin Smith's campaign, and I understand, and he was quoted in the paper today as being instrumental in the decision to charge other candidates, or all the candidates, the $2,000 in order to be able to speak at the dinner. Robin Smith's camps obviously decided that they are going to speak, and of course she's been involved as a party insider for a long time, party establishment insider for a good long time, being the state party chair and having been endorsed by a number of DC insiders already in this campaign, as well as receiving money, bundling money from lobbyists, as was reported on our SEC report, PAC money, et cetera. So it's a difference of being an insider or an outsider, I think, in this campaign, and whether you're part of the establishment or you're not. But it's important for the Republican Party to expand instead of contract, and my campaign's about including people instead of excluding them. And I think that message will get out over the course of the campaign.
Well, it's going to be a long, hot summer. You can rest assured on that. And, of course, after that, then it'll be football time in Tennessee, and the winner of that primary will be campaigning for the November. And there are those who were saying the winner of the Republican primary is very, very likely going to be not only, of course, sensibly enough the nominee, but probably will win the election in November.
Well, I think so. Of course, you don't ever want to take anything for granted, but I think that people will look at my background. Instead of talking about supporting jobs and job creation, I have done that when I served on the Cleveland City Council, working as part of a team to bring hundreds of jobs to our area and 43 different businesses and several developments there. And I think that's a good record to run on, having served as sheriff and worked very hard to balance our budget and always having a balanced budget and accomplishing a great deal of things in crime reduction, making government work for others without a tax increase. I think that's a good record to run on, and making government work for you, and every single year returning money back to the taxpayer since I've been sheriff at the end of the budget year. And also my background as a Secret Service agent and knowing the terror threats that this nation faces, national security matters, as well as public safety matters, issues of illegal immigration and how important it is for us to secure our borders, and also to support those Second Amendment gun rights as well. I have the record to run on action over talk, and I think that's the difference in this race with the other candidates.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Bradley County Sheriff Tim Gobble, thank you for taking the time to talk to us this afternoon. We said it has been a mixed day, of course, celebrating the lives of those who served and gave their lives in Hamilton County, and then finding out two officers in West Tennessee, in the West Memphis, Arkansas area, losing their lives. Our thoughts and prayers certainly with their families, with all the law enforcement officers, men and women that service all over the area. Once again, Sheriff Gobble, thank you for your time. We will be talking with you again quite soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, Ed. Good to be with you this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. 525 WPLZ.